Welcome to Elingo, where learning English meets ideas that quietly change the way you see yourself and your life.
Most people believe fixing their life takes months or years. They imagine huge plans, dramatic makeovers, or a perfect Monday to finally start. And because the task feels so big, they never begin.
That's the real problem.
It's not that change takes time. It's that trying to change everything at once makes you change nothing. One day will not fix your entire life. But one day can change your direction.
And direction is what decides where you end up.
Think about a plane flying from New York to London. If the pilot adjusts the course by just 1 degree at takeoff, the plane doesn't land in London anymore. It lands hundreds of miles away. Just 1 degree. A tiny shift at the beginning creates a completely different destination. Your life works the same way. Most people repeat yesterday without realizing it, keeping the same thoughts, the same habits, and the same excuses. Then wondering why nothing changes. Here's the truth. You don't need a complete life overhaul. You need one small shift that changes everything else. One decision, one boundary, one action you've been avoiding. Not 10 goals, not a new planner, not a 5-year plan you'll abandon next week. Just one thing, done fully, done today. The mistake most people make is focusing on outcomes instead of systems. They say, I want to be successful, I want to be confident, I want to be healthy. Those are wishes, not mechanisms. Outcomes are consequences. Systems are causes. You don't fix your life by chasing results. You fix it by installing daily behaviors that produce results automatically. Systems don't rely on motivation. They rely on decisions. That's why one day matters more than you think. One day is enough to install a morning routine that shapes the next 1,000 mornings. One day is enough to end a relationship that has drained you for years. One day is enough to start a project that becomes your career. These actions won't transform your life instantly, but they change the system. And once the system changes, the results become inevitable. Many people confuse activity with progress. They stay busy reorganizing, planning, watching motivation videos, and making endless to-do lists. It feels productive, but nothing truly moves. Real progress usually looks smaller and less exciting. It's often just one uncomfortable action that actually matters. So here's a simple framework. First, identify the one pattern that keeps showing up and holding you back. Not 5 problems. Not your entire past. Just one repeating behavior. Maybe you always say yes when you mean no. Maybe you overthink and never start. Maybe you wait for perfect conditions that never arrive. Deep down, you already know what it is. Name it clearly. If you're not sure what that pattern is, try something more concrete. Take one page and draw a line down the middle. On the left side, list your current investments. Not just money, but your time, attention, and emotional energy. Be painfully specific. Write things like 2 hours a day scrolling and feeling empty, 30 minutes every morning deciding what to wear, or mental energy worrying about a colleague's opinion. These are all investments, whether you admit them or not. On the right side, write your desired identity in one clear sentence that starts with, I am a person who. Not goals, not achievements, but identity. Not I want to be fit, but I am a person whose body feels capable and energized. Not I want a better job, but I am a person who builds valuable skills with focus. Then draw arrows. Ask yourself honestly, does each investment on the left help build the identity on the right? If an arrow points nowhere, you found a leak. You're not lazy. You're simply pouring energy into a version of yourself you say you want to leave behind. Once you see the leaks, the next step becomes obvious. Second, replace the biggest one with a specific action. Not a vague promise like, "I'll try harder." Choose a concrete behavior you can do today. If you avoid hard conversations, have one. If you procrastinate through endless planning, take imperfect action right now. If you hate your job but never apply anywhere else, send one application. Make it real and measurable. Third, remove the option to negotiate with yourself. This is where most people fail. They decide what to do, then convince themselves to wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow feels safer. But tomorrow is often just fear wearing a polite mask. When you stop negotiating, you save energy. You don't debate. You don't wait for motivation. You simply act because you decided. There's also a scientific reason this works. In chemistry, there's something called activation energy, the minimum energy needed to start a reaction. Starting is the hardest part. Once the reaction begins, it sustains itself. Your habits work the same way. The first day feels heavy. The 10th day feels normal. The 100th day feels automatic. Most people quit before reaching that automatic stage and mistake discomfort for failure, when it's actually proof that something is changing. Fixing your life in one day doesn't mean solving everything before midnight. It means triggering that reaction. It means paying the activation energy cost once so the system can run on its own later. You're not fixing outcomes today, you're fixing direction. And direction quietly shapes everything else. But change usually requires letting something die. An old habit, an old identity. Sometimes even an old relationship. Letting go feels like loss before it feels like freedom, which is why people stay stuck. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they're afraid of what they must release. Yet what you're holding on to may not be protecting you. It may just be familiar. And familiar isn't the same as healthy. So before you finish reading this, choose one action that would genuinely change your trajectory if you did it today. Not the easiest task, not the most impressive one. The one that scares you a little because you know it matters. Then stop thinking and do it. One different action today is enough to prove you're not stuck. And once you prove you can move, the next step becomes easier, then the next. Until one day you look back and realize you're living a completely different life. That's how you fix your entire life in one day. Not by changing everything at once, but by changing your direction and letting time do the rest.